Hi guys, welcome back to Social Sciences Junction. This lecture again is a break from the regular lecture series. This one tries to lay down a probable daily routine for aspirants of competitive examinations. This has been designed for those that are full-time aspirants, that is, people who do not have regular college or office and are also not into the business of expensive and exhaustive coaching classes. We need to mention here that this routine has been designed for an early riser, and people who prefer utilizing the late hours of the night can very well adjust the hours accordingly, according to their particular likes and their preferred schedules. So let's not waste any further time and straightway move to the first slide. So here is a list of 5 most essential things that you must find time to do every day. I mean, you must find time to do 5 of these things each day. First thing first, newspapers and current affairs. The most essential part of each competitive examinations this day is current affairs, and you definitely need to put in some time for current affairs each day. And newspapers, I believe, is the best way to keep up with current affairs. So you've got to read newspapers thoroughly, at least one national daily each day. And in case you are aspiring for regional examinations, civil services examinations conducted by state public service commissions, in that case you also need to read one newspaper of that particular state each day. Then, two subjects for general studies. You need to select groups of 2 subjects for 2 to 3 months, depending upon the time you have till the examinations. Say if you have lesser time, you will need to select 2 subjects for 1 month. And if you have considerable amount of time, you can take up 2 subjects for 2 months or say 3 months. The idea here is that reading a particular subject at length for hours, days, weeks, and months becomes very, very boring and monotonous at times. So by adding a second subject to your daily schedule, you can make it a bit interesting and less monotonous. And in that way, you also get to cover more and more syllabus in a shorter time. Third thing, maps. It is very essential to spend some time on maps and atlases. Say name of all the places that you come across throughout the day, either from newspaper or while studying for general studies. Note them down simultaneously in a particular sheet of paper or on a notebook. And at the hours allocated for looking into maps and atlases, make sure that you try to locate all the places that you have heard about or read about during your day. In addition to that, you also need to take up newer places each day. Say you can begin with larger entities such as continents and then gradually narrow it down to countries, states, provinces, etc. etc. You can look into rivers, you can look into natural resources, thermal power plants, hydroelectric projects. Different things can come into maps, but you need to very particularly look into maps for at least 1 hour each day. Fourth is writing practice. You need to write say around 500 words each day, because no matter how much you read, it doesn't make much sense unless you can express what you know. Aspirants of all the competitive examinations these days, you will find, fail not because they do not know about a particular thing. Many of them fail because they are unable to express whatever they know. So this is very essential to put in some time for writing answers, for writing practice each day. You need to keep in mind that what we mean here is actual writing on a piece of paper and not typing it out. In an age of autocorrect, you are obvious to make spelling mistakes, and these spelling mistakes are going to penalize you during your examinations, and hence you need to write on a piece of paper and check out for spelling mistakes, if any. And fifth, the most important thing, as we have talked in other lectures also, is revision. You need to put in some time of the day for revising whatever you have read yesterday or the previous week or say the previous month or whatever. We will come up in subsequent time with a schedule of revision, a revision cycle, how much what to revise and how much to revise on a particular day, and how much gap you need for reading a particular material and then going back to revise it. Third thing, you need to divide your 24 hours, say the 24 hours that you have at your disposal in a day, into 2 phases. One phase is your activity hours and the other is your rest hours. In this lecture, we have divided the day into 17 work hours and 7 rest hours. I mean, you can very well change this particular division of phases into different hours, but what we believe is that 7 hours of rest is very, very essential for normal functioning of a human being. So we put stress on keeping rest hours to minimum of 6 to 7 hours. So by 17 hours of activity, we it doesn't mean just studying. So these are the 17 hours that you read in, that you enjoy reading in, and above all, these are the 17 hours that you live in. You do not need to feel guilty about putting in some of the minutes here and there of your day into checking your social media feeds, or say staying in contact or staying in touch with your friends and relatives. So this is very essential that if any routine that you follow is sustainable, because you might very well put in 12 hours of your day in studying today, and skip on all other things that you do in your life. But I'm sure this kind of routine is not sustainable. You cannot live with this routine for more than 2 weeks, and you start feeling suffocated and frustrated. And very important thing for competitive examinations is that you stick to a particular routine for at least 9 to 10 long months. And that's the reason that you need to fix a routine which you enjoy and which you like. Yes, so enjoy your preparation and enjoy your routine. So next thing is division of the phases. Once you have divided two broad phases of your 24 hours, you need to divide these phases in broad phases into small constituents. Say for the rest hours, you can make it 6 plus 1 or 5 plus 2 or whatever you like. In this routine, we have made it a 1 plus 6 schedule, that is 6 hours of sleep at night and 1 hour of sleep during the day. And for the work part, we have divided it into 60 to 90 minutes of smaller segments in which you take up to do a particular thing. So let's look into the work phase. And while we look into the work phase, we also look into the rest phase, because in between the work phase, we have placed at appropriate times the hours or minutes for rest. So this is a very this is a template routine. I mean, I must stress here that this is a template routine, a sample routine, and it's not essential that every one of you will have to follow this particular routine if you want to write a competitive examination. You can very well design your routine as per your wishes, as per your likes, and as per the time available at your disposal. This is a sample routine which we believe is more or less standard and should more or less help you in your performance, in your preparation. So as we have already mentioned, this is a routine for early risers. So we have estimated the time for wake up to be 5 a.m. in the morning, which we do not, however, universalize. You may very well sleep at 3 o'clock in the night and wake up at 11 a.m. in the morning. But this, we believe, is a very tentative and probable schedule. So what we have done here is we have allotted 5 a.m. to 6 a.m., that is 60 minutes, so 1 hour for waking up, freshening up, and having a light meal and physical stretching. Guys, it is very essential that throughout your study phase, throughout your rigorous practice, you keep up with good health. So we stress very much on taking appropriate meal throughout the day and taking appropriate physical activity throughout the day. So this hour of the morning, you need to put in some minutes into meditation, yoga, stretching, jogging, or whatever you like. From 6 to 7 a.m. is for revision. We have already mentioned that we'll make a separate lecture for revision schedule and revision cycle separately. But what you need to keep in mind here is that you need to put this morning hour for revision, because this is the hour when the retention is very, very high. And if you revise at this hour, we believe that it will help you retain the particular thing for a longer time. Then comes the current affairs and the newspaper segment, which is very, very essential part of your day, which we have kept for 7 to 8:30. By expecting that your newspaper receives, you receive your newspaper at your home or your hostel by 7 a.m. in the morning. So this 90 minutes, this 1.5 hour of your day is the most essential phase of your day for your preparation. So do not forget to keep note of the things that you keep note of the facts and figures that you come across in newspaper and current affairs, because without doing that, it is no use reading newspapers each day. Then comes the 8:30 to 9:30 a.m., that is 60 minutes and say 1 hour phase. This is the time when you can go for bath and you can have breakfast, a heavier meal than what you had in the early morning. And make sure to stick to this 60 minutes schedule, and don't go under the shower and keep singing for hours and hours. Then comes the 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. schedule, which we have taken up for general studies first subject. From the set of two subjects that we have selected for this particular month or these two particular months, take up the first subject of general studies for this first 90 minutes, and then continue in the next 90 minutes with the second subject. Then from 12:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. we have from 12:30 p.m. to 1:30 p.m., which is 60 minutes or 1 hour, we have dedicated for writing practice, and make sure you do not miss this particular section of the day. Then we have kept the next phase from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m., which is 90 minutes for lunch, rest, freshen up, and a light meal. We stress on having some light meal after waking up and before going back to your preparation for the next phase. And we'd like to stress that kindly do not waste any minute of your rest part of the day in social media or any other things. You can very well bring in time from your lunch part, from your bath part, from your freshen up part, from your meal part, or whatever, but kindly do not compromise with the time that you have fixed for rest. Then from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. for 60 minutes we have kept for atlas and maps, which we have already mentioned about how to go on, and we'll also come up with a separate lecture on how to approach atlases and maps. Then from 5 to 7:30 we have kept again for the first subject, in which you can revise for 15 to 20 minutes whatever you have read in the morning phase, and then go on to add on to your preparation for the next for the remaining minutes of that segment. Same goes to the second subjects, which we have kept 90 more minutes from 7:30 to 9 p.m. First 20 to 25 minutes you can put in to revise whatever you have read in the morning phase, and then go on to add on to it in the remaining minutes. The next 90 minutes from 9 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. have been left quite open for you to decide whatever you like doing in these hours, these minutes. During these minutes, you essentially one essential thing that need to do in these 90 minutes is have your dinner and go on to watch YouTube channel Social Sciences Junction for more interesting and beneficial videos. Above doing these two basic things, you can go on to watch television, you can go on to socialize and whatever you like, whatever are your hobbies. And the final hour of the day as per this particular routine for you is supposed to be 10:30 p.m. This is the time when you make your bed and go for sleep by 11 p.m. So that you can wake up at say 5 a.m. next morning and begin the schedule for next day. So the two golden rules: enjoy your routine and live your life. Thank you so much for viewing this video. Kindly subscribe to this channel if you haven't done it already, and also press the bell icon to get the notification about new videos from Social Sciences Junction. Kindly share it with all your near and dear ones who you believe will be benefited from this video or videos or other videos of Social Sciences Junction. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you so much.